So the new update is live, and well, we have received 3 different platoons. One is the new tier 9. We have received tier 9 tanks with this update, and well, I'll be taking a look at the VCC platoon. Now, these are Italian tanks, and honestly, they do look very interesting. Today, I'll be, as already mentioned, I'll be starting with the VCC-80 60. Now this little cute light tank has a 60mm main gun, 70 counter per hour top speed, reverse is 32 counter per hour, specifier is 21 horsepower per ton, it weighs only 29 tons, 3 crew members, 246 moment of penetration. Its reload is probably the fastest reload out of any tank that we have at the moment, 2 seconds, and of course it has absolutely no armor. Although it has APFSDS and it's quite maneuverable, but as we all know, the lower caliber APFSDS and HEATFS shells tend to do little damage, but this thing has a lot of penetration, which is very interesting for a 60mm cannon. And honestly, I have to say this is a very cute little tank. It even has, I don't know what's this thing that it has like on the top of the gun. It looks cute, whatever it is. It's just a little adorable tank. Now, let's take this thing for a ride. As I mentioned, you have 2 shell types, APFSDS and have high explosive, although the high explosive is a 60mm high explosive, and I don't know if it can kill anything, honestly. I guess it can be useful against some very lightly armored vehicles, but I haven't really had much luck with shooting down lightly armored vehicles with this tank. But the main thing on the VCC-80 is that rate of fire, and it has APFSDS for a 60mm cannon, so you will definitely have a lot of penetration for high tier, for top tier. But the problem with this cute little tank is the fact that it doesn't do a lot of damage when it penetrates. I mean, you look at that. I think that's the driver. I think the driver took a direct hit and was still alive. So you will have to shoot several times at the target in order to kill it. Now, not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I really like to drive this tank. It's very interesting. The reload makes it very fun to use. So for a new top tier, well, I don't wanna call it a main battle tank, since obviously this is a light tank, but it does get the job done really well. Now the armor, you have to be very careful with the armor. Although I will say this, I've managed to bounce this thing with the Centurion a couple times from the front. It is a very angled front hull, so technically you can bounce shells, but in top tier I really don't rely on armor, especially on something that has no armor. And it is interesting how the design is changing as we are progressing towards the modern vehicles. I think this is like a 1980 tank, so we're definitely getting closer to present. But for a light tank, this does get the job done really well so far. Again, the only drawback is that the shell isn't doing a lot of damage when it penetrates. I mean, just look at the tiny amount of damage that I'm doing, and you don't have any other shell, by the way, only APFSDS and high explosive. But the reload is also really good. I think this is also a autoloader, since when you fire a bunch of shells, the tank will enter a reload state, like it's entering now. So this is a autoloader, a 2-second autoloader, which is very nice. Obviously it's not going to do as much damage as the STRV, for example, which is also an autoloader, but this little gun is actually very accurate, as you can see. It does hit where you want to, where you aim. Basically, it goes there in most cases. So this is a highly accurate little 60mm main cannon. Well, main cannon, the main gun. I mean, when you say cannon, you would imagine something big, right? Well, this is only a 60mm cannon, and we already have experience with lower caliber guns from low tier. But as you can see, this tank has absolutely no problems in penetrating main battle tanks. It does. It can penetrate all of them. Well, all of them. You will probably have some issues to penetrate the T55, T62, for example, the STRV. Maybe the ZTZ tanks can be kind of troublesome to penetrate on the front. Although if you aim for the lower plate and if you aim for the turret, you might be able, but just avoid shooting at the frontal sloped armor, since this can, even though it's a PFSDS, it might not have enough penetrating power to go through a angled gray angle armor like we have on the T62. But for the other paper tanks, it's absolutely no problem. It will go through the armor like no big deal. Although you have to aim at specific spots with this cannon, since it doesn't do a lot of damage when you penetrate, so you really want to aim at a specific spot for ammo or for the crew. Now when it comes to, are you going to be able to carry the match or to carry the team with this vehicle? Well, it's possible, but you definitely will have to reload at one point. This tank has a very quick reload, and the shell already doesn't do much damage, so you will be running out of ammo if you end up carrying the match. But again, that's also something that's potentially not going to be that easily done on this vehicle. And well, the team that I had here in the match, obviously, yeah, not the best. So this was already lost. The second I actually entered the match was already lost. And well, let's just finish the match with the Centurion. This thing is actually insane. I like this tank a lot. Well, tank destroyer. The Centurion is insane. I'll be taking a look at this tank in the next video, but again, this thing is insane. Surprising survivability and surprising speed. And the gun, we have received a DM33, by the way, finally. Well, let's go to the next match with the Micro Pizza, or how will I call this tank? I don't know. I mean, this is just an adorable little tank. You can't hate this little thing. It's just cute. A cute little tank. And it does get the job done, so not really complaining about this little thing. So, how do you play this thing? Well, you can use it as a sniper, as I already mentioned. You are able to penetrate main battle tanks quite easily. And the reload means that you can shoot about 5 to 10 times before the enemy reloads, which is honestly a very good advantage that you have. So if the enemy messes up and misses you, you have a lot of time to send the shells flying at them. Now the survivability of this little tank is actually really good. Not too sure if I already talked about that, but the survivability is surprisingly really good. Although they are very vulnerable. The entire platoon is very vulnerable to high explosive. So if you want to destroy these tanks, shoot them with high explosive. The average 105mm has enough explosive power to basically overpressure these vehicles, since they have no armor. So that's one thing. And well, the Baguette was shooting, and well, the Baguette is now going to have a very bad day. One more hit, there we go. As you can see, by the time they reload, you already unload your whole clip into them, and this is basically what I really like about this tank. It is a very enjoyable to drive little thing. I think this might be the second cutest tank that we have. The cutest I think is the Weasel, although maybe there is just something better looking, I don't know. But I just like these little tanks. The micro tanks, as I like to call them. It is actually very interesting how, well, I mean, now the next tanks will probably follow the same I guess, idea of having absolutely no armor and having a good gun but no armor. All of them are very maneuverable as well. Although the wheeled tanks or the Centurion, that one, I think the Centurion might be the best vehicle of the whole platoon. It's a surprisingly, I mean, you will see what I'm talking about, but the Centurion is a tank that definitely caught my attention. That thing is really fun to use. It reminds me of the STRV in one way, but the survivability on that thing is just insane. The overall design language of the vehicle is very interesting. Now I got hit from the side, but tank is still fine. Surprisingly, that's I have to be careful. This is what I'm talking about. These things take so much damage, and that's a shot called Gimel. Watch how quickly I will be unloading the shells into that thing. I just watched the X-ray there. I'm aiming for the ammo, and eventually, there we go. Eventually, it went in the ammo. But my tank is fine, even though I was shot by 2 tanks. I killed 2 tanks as well. So the surprising survivability on this little thing. It is incredible how well it works all together. And of course, now I have to repair, and after I repair, okay, crew replaced as well. You can definitely carry the match with this, but again, it is a it's going to work in a very specific setting. It's not going to work in like all different situations. And this is where I forgot to aim, and well, that's what happens when you forget to aim. But overall, I mean, 4 kills, I'll take it. Not too bad. And let's just finish the match if possible.
The enemy is winning. We've got to counterattack.
There is the M3 Bradley, but yeah, this match is also pretty much lost, since I have been swarmed all over the place, and I should have taken the Centurion, to be honest. Shouldn't have taken this. And this is where the low damage kicks in. How many shells will it take to kill that tank? Well, yeah, unfortunately, way too many shells, and that's a fail. But I'm pretty happy with the performance of this tank so far. Let's go to the last match for today. Now, one thing that kind of was disappointing, these tanks don't have a lot of gun depression, so the usual positions where I like to go to will not work that well. They can lower the gun, but obviously they are not going to be able to lower the gun the same way the Leopard does, or the STRV, or the other main battle tanks. And this position would be ideal for this thing if only it could lower the gun, which obviously, as you can see, it can't. And one other thing, these tanks are extremely wobbly for some reason. They are stabilized, but apparently the stabilization doesn't really work that well for some reason. Since every time I stop moving, the gun goes up and down, goes all over the place, but when I'm actually moving and aiming, I can see that it's stabilized. So yeah, did you see how the gun just moves up and down? That's the problem that I kind of don't like about these things, the stabilizations. It is there, but I don't think like that it's working that well. That's like the... Oh, and I'm positioning myself in a very weird spot. But thankfully, no armor is best armor, and whatever is shooting at me is just going to overpenetrate, and they will be doing no damage at all. And that's the VCC-80, also a new tank. Couple shells and they have been destroyed. a little example of what happens when you... I mean, how does it feel to shoot at this thing? Well, we're about to find out. This is another VCC, just about 110 meters away from me. I have... well, I can repair more, but I'm not going to. And first shot went right in the gun. Second shot in the side, but barely no damage, barely any damage. Tank is on fire, turret crew is dead, and well, the tank is destroyed. So basically, you will overpenetrate a lot if you are shooting at this thing. Now, another good thing, this thing can raise the gun all the way in the sky, basically. And surprising survivability against aircraft machine guns. That was actually a very solid kill there.
Need cover!
For a light tank, this thing does feel better than the Mars 15, but I feel like the Mars 15 does have some advantages over this vehicle. And that's a C-25. I also love how the gunner took a direct hit there and nothing happened. This is where the missing gun depression kicks in. I just need a little bit more degrees, but unfortunately there is no such thing, and I'm not going to be able to hit that Raketenjagdpanzer. If it were any other vehicle, that tank would have been dead, but unfortunately, yeah, didn't work. And I actually did hit the OF, was able to hit the lower plate and disable the engine. That's why they stalled. I was very fast on shooting that thing. And then the OF is now immobilized. Now, what did they do with my bombers? I have no idea. But ever since the last update, they have messed up my bombers a lot. They messed up the buttons. They completely messed up my favorite bomber as well. It works the same way, just the buttons are just all over the place and can't click on them properly because they're not in the position where they used to be. And it's just, yeah, I hit the track. Well, that's going to be a assist, I guess. But yeah, this little tank is pretty awesome when it comes to its performance. It is definitely a nice performing little tank and does definitely get a good score from me. It's honestly unique, and it is indeed a very fun little tank. And it's a light tank as well. It's a micro pizza, as I like to call it, since they are Italian tanks. Good thing is it also can drift around, not as, will not drift as good as the Centurion, but it can do that as well. If you like to drift around with tanks, well, then this thing can easily pull it off. There's one more tank left. They're somewhere over here. I see them on the map. Oh, there they are. Boom. There we go. Yeah, there's no problems to penetrate tanks. 246mm of average penetration is pretty good. And well, that would be it for the VCC-8060. This is honestly a very interesting light tank. Very fun to drive around, and it is the new tier 9 tank. So far pretty happy with the platoon, and well, hope you guys enjoyed. Next time when I return will be very soon after this video. We'll be taking a look at the Centurion. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe, and with that, please stay safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.